This is what I've been waiting for. God's honest truth. I want to hear Kevin's take on Ahsoka.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind
Um,
of take a seat here.
Yeah,
And
we want to hear the Kevin perspective on
Well,
this.
and the bad thing is it's not fresh in my mind anymore because I've been
Right.
like binging other shows, so I've had to like going back and like remember stuff. But yeah. So I mean, there was a couple of predictions I made. I was right apparently on
Mhm.
where I predicted that. Hey, spoilers, obviously, if you guys didn't know that by now, but spoilers. Thrawn actually made it back to the galaxy with the help of the Dathomirian sisters,
Mhm.
and the rest of the gang did not. So Ahsoka's still on the planet, and I predicted that because why else would they have her leave if Baylan Skoll is still there? And the guy is one of the last shots we ever see Ray Stevenson doing anything is a very Lord of the Rings is shot of him standing on the hand, the outturned hand of. I'm gonna move my hand here, like this of one of this looked like a very Lord of the Rings ish character. And if you know anything about Star Wars, which this was in Rebels, again, it's one of those things that you'd have to know the reference in Rebels and Clone Wars, but as of those particular pieces of Star Wars, Star Wars kind of has Force deities. There are three of them, and one is the father and the two children. He's going. Supposedly, the going theory is he is going to either meet or resurrect the spirit of the mother, whose name is Abeloth. That she goes by Abeloth, and she's not very nice. She's not very nice at all. She's going to be very, very bad. And this woman is incredibly powerful of the Force. So if Ray Stevenson's character Baylan Skoll becomes a channel for this spirit or whatever we want to call it, Force ghost or whatever, it's going to be very bad for our protagonists. So I feel like the next season we will probably spend a good portion of the first part of the series, this season of them, trying to figure that out. They'll get back, and then by that time, Thrawn will have taken over a good portion of the controllable galaxy, and then it'll just be a matter of it'll kind of catch up to the how we were with the Thrawn series as it is. But pretty much the entire party split up at this point. Shin, but both of the Dark Jedi. They stayed back. They're both still on the planet.
Yeah.
On Peridia. So the kickoff point for the next season could be anything really. They could start off with Thrawn. They could literally not talk about Thrawn at all for 5 episodes and then get into him and then know. By the way, in our galaxy, Thrawn has now taken over half the galaxy because he's awesome and he's got undead soldiers and undead Dathomiri witches riding ghost rancors
yeah. How about that Walking Dead meets Star Wars there kind of
yes.
with that was very interesting. Yeah.
And now officially Death Troopers have been in everything, pretty much just about everything Star Wars, recent Star Wars, because we actually got that one really gnarly looking the stormtrooper zombie that was in black armor was actually a death trooper. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm needless to say, guys, I've already reached out to our buddy Shane to ask him if there was an inexpensive way that I could source some stormtrooper armor so that I could actually put up mannequins and like outside and actually do that next year, like do a stormtrooper like just zombies with the lighted eyes and everything, but maybe I'll have to do that myself because that stuff's really expensive still to do. But Ahsoka, ended on a cliffhanger. We don't know. We know that Thrawn's back. We know that our protagonists aren't. I mean, we had one protagonist get back,
right?
I mean, season 2 has still yet to be announced. It kind of blows my mind that they haven't announced it yet, but
aren't they supposed to do a
things
movie
are kind of weird
then?
at Disney right now. So
are they supposed to do a movie first, then the next season?
They haven't said. We don't. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or if it's going to be another season in a movie. They haven't said what the order is going to be, and I'm glad because every time they say there's going to be a movie, it gets canceled.
Yeah,
So
let's
please
just
don't say it.
let's hold off on making any announcements on that just yet.
We already lost a Rogue Squadron movie. We've got lost. I mean,
Yeah, I was
Tika
sad that
Waititi's
didn't happen.
movie. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
What happens with Balin? Do they recast?
Yeah. There's definite recast, and the cool thing, it kind of sucks because obviously Ray Stevens has passed, but the good thing is that I don't know if you guys caught on, but as the series progressed, he looked darker and darker. If you go and watch it and you look at his face, he starts getting more and more dark because it's almost like the dark side or this power is pulling on him so hard. So it's not much of a stretch that by the time we see him again, he could be really different looking.
Well, makes sense. I mean, that would
make a recast a little easier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't think they can avoid recasting him. I mean, Ray Stevenson, it's just he's probably now my favorite live action Jedi portrayal. I mean, and not even a Jedi, it was more like a dark Jedi or just a neutral or a gray. But he is just so incredibly imposing as an actor, and he brought that energy to where he was like, "You're not going to beat me," and she's like, "Well, maybe I don't have to." But it's just like she knew she was not going to be able to beat this guy. He was that powerful. He had that. He's like been one of the only Jedi since that. I mean, because we didn't really get that from Kylo. Kylo was more like, he was more, emo and a little more, he just kind of had his internal struggles and he was just kind of more of a wannabe. This guy's like, he has Vader energy. He has that imposing, like, I will beat you down to get to what I need to do. But it was more of like a silent sentinel type of energy. I really enjoyed that. And I'm hoping that if we get another actor that they can capture that same feel because it was just so incredibly good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, did you order the Thrawn hot toys?
Not yet, no. No, I really like the way that looks, but I have a tough time with 12-inch figures, the taller figures, and I'm having to think to the future. That's the reason that I almost exclusively collect the Gentle Giant smaller ones. It's because I try to keep them all around the same size, so that if I have, I don't know if I'm to the age where you guys. I mean, this is no criticism. You guys buy a lot of things, right? You buy a lot of no matter what size it is or whatever, because you want it. Whereas with me, no, wait, what? But with me, it's like it's always everything. Every time I look at something, it's like, where am I going to put it? Does it have a place? Can I make a place for it? Then no, I'm not going to get it. Yeah. So that was one of those ones where I was like, I will be able to appreciate that sitting right there on my screen, and then we'll go on. But yeah, if you guys are looking for a really good version of Lars Mikkelson's Grand Admiral Thrawn, Brock linked me to Hot Toys. They're doing a 12-inch that it is absolutely phenomenal and is actually very well priced for a Hot Toys.
Yeah, sideshow.com is where you can find it. But yeah, it's funny. He's like, do I have the space? If not, I'm not going to buy it. And I'm just like, I'm over here renting extra storage units.
That is not a statement that is factored into anything. It's just buy it now and we'll figure it out later.
And honestly, it's because of aftermarket prices.
Yeah.
But I have gotten to the point on a lot of pre-orders. I give it a month or two, and I've been going in and canceling pre-orders. I'm like, I have no interest in that anymore. But I will say that the Hera and Chopper Hot Toys, once they revealed those a few weeks ago, that was an instant buy. So I
just that the heroine was incredibly accurate.
It was. She looks good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother. Yes. I should probably not admit to that while Jess is sitting across the room.
Come on, there's she knows.
Why am I going to get upset about this? I mean, it's true.
Jess was probably watching it, going, "Wow."
Well,
it's a good looking figure. It's as impressive as the Thrawn figure. So, and I don't,
And that was no dig at you guys. I just passed that
No,
phase
yeah, no.
15 years ago.
Well, we've had that discussion
20.
before,
Oh,
yeah.
how you collect versus how we collect, and our mentality and
and,
those things.
and how we collect is going to cause us to buy a new, bigger house in this horrible housing market.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get that house, you're going to be like, all right, now let's put our stuff out. And you're going to be like,
we still
wow,
don't
we've
have
got room in our storage unit. Let's buy more stuff.
That storage unit's filling up.
I'm not going to say anything.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not just buying the stuff. This is my stupid self.
I'm just going to say this might be completely off the subject, but the meme that goes around about, the wife and all the Amazon packages that show up at the house. That's
She had one day last week at her office where a Hasbro package didn't show up for me.
Yeah.
And that's just because Hasbro decided to unleash a tidal wave of pre-orders that I had, and I didn't realize it. And I wake up every morning, Hasbro Pulse is charged. Hasbro Pulse is charged. I'm like, good night. What are they doing?
They've released the Kraken.
They have. Thankfully, though, they've released so much that I'm near the end of my pre-orders. So there won't be much more coming in. But I'm looking at one heck of a online yard sale once I can start going through this stuff, especially once we move into a new house and I start going through boxes. Oh man, I'm going to make so much money back because the aftermarket prices on things. It's going to be great.
But yeah, I'm seriously looking forward to the next season. So we'll see how that goes with Ahsoka.
So it was a great cast. I mean, I enjoyed all the cast in this season, the story. So I'm really looking forward to what lies ahead for this series.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that you guys haven't seen Rebels and you were able to follow it with no problem. I've seen people complain with it like, I don't know what they mean with this, but then I'm like, I've got friends who are watching this and they're just like, okay, we'll just take it.
Right.
Yeah. He's doing a good job telling the story without you having to have seen everything. It's not like Marvel where you have to, if you don't see every movie before this, you're going to be lost.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that Secret Invasion, whatever show, if they tie anything into that, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like for the movie The Marvels, I'm not going to see it.
I have no interest in seeing it anyway, so it's not something that's pressing on me. So yeah.
If they tie anything back to like we were talking earlier, if they tie anything back to Loki or the phase 1, 2, or 3 of Marvel, I'll watch it. Anything right now, and I know like phase 3 and 4, is going to tie Captain Marvel and stuff, and I know that's going to be tied, but she was not a character that drew me in. So
her demands per movie must still be fairly low as compared to some of the other actors, which is why they can still keep her on the payroll and they're not, they're not getting cheap about it.
I would think so.
Yeah, if you put one of the Chris's back in the movie, the Hemsworth or Evans, if you can find them, find a way back for them, or put Hiddleston back into a movie, I'll see it.
I think that now I would love to be wrong on this, but I think that Disney is just Robert Downey Jr. burned him with Robert Downey Jr. money. Yeah. That what his demands were to be back in, and that they just don't want to do that, which is why I think they're being so aggressive about not bringing major talent back, other than like Sam Jackson. But Sam Jackson's in everything.
Yeah,
that guy probably works for a carton of Pall Malls. I mean, that's all he cares about is just being and stuff.
And the thing is I don't know if this is still true, but like 2 or 3 years ago, I saw a fact where Sam Jackson, if you want to point to one person who has the highest box office numbers and draw, it's him because of everything he's in.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
I mean, the dude's in everything, and I'm assuming it's probably because he keeps his take and his demands cheap. So they have no problem casting him and everything, because at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah,
so I think that's a lot of what prevents them from. Yeah, he's a great actor.
I love him.
He's been in everything. That dude's like John Williams is to music.
Yeah,
he's in everything. It's like you can just about point out everything that he's been involved in from Jurassic Park up. Before that, So I think that they're just they just don't want to to pay that Robert Downey Jr. money anymore. So that anything that they think that if you talk to Chris Evans and he said, I want this much, I'm like, it's a bit close to Robert Downey Jr. money. I don't think the shareholders are going to like that. Not in the budget. No.
And speaking of share, I mean, Disney right now, they're not doing the best in the stock market. They're hurting. And
which to me, it amazes me, the amount of stuff they have out there, and then all the people that go to Disney religiously. Like, how is that?
Well, and while there's a not to vent and veer off on too much of a tangent, but there's a lot about Disney. Just like with a lot of things in the world right now, prices are going up, and people are like, I just,
prices are stupid, and Disney's attitudes towards some of the properties, and I'm not going to get into any discussions on this. They're feeling the pressure of some decisions they've made.
Well, it's not just that; it's shareholder fatigue. It has fatigue as well. Because the thing is it's easy to forget shareholders and the people who own shares in the company are also movie watchers too. They're also show watchers. So it's very easy to let your portfolio, your opinion on your portfolio and what your investments are be affected by the fact that they have shoehorned everything that they've done into this one particular model because they know it works. And it just doesn't work for all their properties. And they're just now, I think, finally figuring it out, which is why they're trying to change things. Putting Star Wars, they're putting more attention over into Andor, maybe looking at possibly using some of that, some of that formula elsewhere. I've heard rumors of that. And Loki, they could potentially reboot this, and hopefully they shake up their formula a little bit. That's the thing is it's very corporate. It's very corporate. They're like, cool, we're all going to use Outlook and all the Microsoft products, and that's it. And we're all the same, and that's all we ever use. We're never going to change because this is what works.
Yeah.
It works until it doesn't work, and I think the shareholders are feeling that too. And I think that's a lot of what they're running into.
Yeah.
Well, I know we got off of the tangent there off of Loki and Ahsoka because they're both Disney properties, but
it's all good. It's all good. We will be enjoying the Disney brand soon. Jess and I and my kids.
Yeah, very soon.
There'll be a trip soon.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, we love you, Disney. Just do better.
Yeah, and hopefully, you can keep the prices up until we leave the parks. Because if it keeps people out of the parks,
hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah,
less people, less lines, less wait time.
We're already invested.
Well, I'm hoping this coming year I'll be going, so we'll see.
Hope so.
It'll be my first time I've been to Disney in a long time.
I lost my work conference in the spring that I always go on. Our conference people raised the price, tripled it. Tripled the registration just to attend the conference. They tripled it, and my higher ups are like, "Sorry, we didn't budget for that."
Yeah, no.
So find a cheaper conference. So our Disney's trip in the spring will not be happening.
Yeah,
we'll be going to the Holiday Inn, Paramus.
In Paramus.
Yes.
So
it might have been a room made up to look like the Holiday Inn in Paramus.